Hello, we want to welcome you to the Real Doc Chat, second Facebook Live covering health topics regarding the coronavirus. I am Dr. Dawn Brown, and these are my super friends, all board-certified physicians who are here to answer your questions and provide you with safe, physician-recommended tips that will aid you and your loved ones on how to survive and thrive during the time of quarantine. First, do us a favor, y'all. Why don't you share this podcast? Share it with at least two people that you know should be here. And please type your questions into the comment section, and we will address as many questions within the time allotted. Please understand that this is a very hot topic, and we're learning new information that changes every single day. So we ask that you please consult with your physician about your specific medical situation. And know that tests are for information and educational purposes only. It is not at all substitute for medical advice, as you will receive for your own doctor. So let's start by first introducing ourselves, and then we'll get right to your questions. I'll begin. My name is Dr. Dawn Brown. I'm a double board child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist. I'm a two-time best-selling author, podcaster, public speaker, and media influencer. I help supermoms, moms who parent children with ADHD, I help position their children to win so that their disability, what the world calls it, turns into an amazability. I'm also a mental health strategist for elite athletes, collegiate, professional, retired, and Olympian. I help them maximize their mental health so that their physical ability now is in line with their mental resilience. Thank you. Thank you again for joining. Dr. Mia?
And I am Dr. Mia, your board certified gynecologist and B3 specialist. I help women suffering with weight gain, fatigue, and low sex drive improve their quality of life through my cutting edge medicine, my books, my blogs, my Facebook Lives, my conferences, and my radio show. My goal is to help you experience your beauty balance and beliefs so you can always live well, age beautifully. It's Dr. Mia.
Hey everyone, I am Dr. Nicole Edwards. I am your board certified family medicine physician. I specialize in managing and treating chronic medical conditions and explaining those conditions in terms that everyday people can understand. I am the CEO and founder of Abundant Life Concierge, where we care for pastors, busy professionals, and veterans and help them live their best life, mind, body, spirit, and finances. I am also the founder of Abundant CNP, where I help veterans to achieve their maximum veterans disability claims possible. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Jamie Hardy, the lifestyle pharmacist. I'm a board certified pharmacist, a speaker, a best-selling author, and an event producer. So I help women who are busy juggling businesses, relationships, and careers to design the life that they have always dreamed about. Through my videos, books, online academy, and live event experiences called the Fab Gathering, I teach them how to be fit, fabulous, and fulfilled without prescribed pills. Thanks so much for having me, Dr. Dawn.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Creed. I am a board certified family medicine physician, and I specialize in helping overwhelmed, overworked, pulling your hair out working wives through my books, my events, Wifeology, the event, the experience of the working wife. I help wives obtain balance, and I also help them to live healthier, happier, whole lives. Thank you, Dr. Dawn.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Jarrett Manning, AKA Dr. Jarrett, America's favorite dentist. I create healthy, beautiful smiles. I'm the owner and smile creator at JLM Dentistry right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I think dentistry is truly an art form, and I consider myself the Picasso of dentistry. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Dawn.
What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Dr. Kwanzaa, aka DJ Dr. Kwanzaa. I am a board certified emergency physician, and your girl been working on overdrive this last couple of weeks, but we're here with you Happy to be here with you. Thank you, Dr. Don. I am the owner of Alchemy Concierge. I'm a board certified emergency physician, and that's my main capacity right now. I'm out here serving everyone as best as we can and trying to keep everybody informed on what's going on with the coronavirus pandemic in a mindful way, not a way to incite fear. I'm also a DJ, so hopefully when I get some downtime, I'm gonna spin some quarantine sets for you guys. I've been missing my DJ action the last couple of weeks, but it's all for the greater good. I'm also the owner of Alchemy Concierge, which is a private acute setting for professionals and busy folks who just need a little assistance with moving through the healthcare system a little bit faster, and it might be a little bit more pertinent for you all these days. So holler at your girl. And then we are going to be talking about how music and medicine can translate into your world, especially while in quarantine times. And I know we're not really in a quarantine, but we're definitely isolated, but not alone. So,
hey y'all, I'm Dr. Sam Price. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician. That means I'm an expert in natural medicine. I'm also an international speaker. Through my #1 best-selling books, my concierge medical practice, in which I do telemedicine as well as my live event, Vital the Experience, which is an international wellness retreat. I help you bridge conventional and alternative medicine to transform your illness into wellness. Thanks for having me, Dr. Don.
Amazing, ladies. And not joining us here tonight because they still remain on the front lines are Dr. Zarina Hudd. She is actually a physical medicine and rehabilitation doctor, a pain freedom doctor, as well as sports management. And we also have Dr. Lakeisha Richardson, who is an OBGYN. So now that you've met all of these fabulous doctors, I actually will get to your questions. And I'm going to actually ask Dr. Kwanzaa the first question. We'll start with you, Dr. Kwanzaa.
all right, let's go.
So Dr. Kwanzaa, the first question, emergency medicine. When is it time to go to the ER? I want to be prepared.
Right. So that's an excellent question. And it's a question we've been fielding quite a bit. I mean, certainly everyone's concern right now is what symptoms are significant enough to drive you to an emergency department. So as we sort of discussed yesterday, I want you to start developing a real plan, which means to be realistic about what's going on, being mindful about the coronavirus, educating yourself about what the coronavirus is, what it is not, the signs and symptoms that we discussed yesterday, which can be from upper respiratory to lower respiratory symptoms such as pneumonia. Having acceptance that this is in our community and that we have to deal with that, and then looking at long-term, which means long-term planning. So I want you to get those things executed with your doctors, especially if you're on inhalers or any other long-term medications that you're going to need in abundance. But time to go to the ER is when you are having fever, chest pain, significant shortness of breath. And so in patients who have coronavirus or COVID-19 disease, what we're seeing is really significant shortness of breath, feeling like they cannot get air, that their lungs feel tight in association with fever, sore throat, other common upper respiratory symptoms. But primarily, if you're having chest pain, shortness of breath in conjunction with fever or any alteration in vital signs like a low blood pressure, those are all signs that you need to go to the emergency department. And in coordinating that care, it is important for you to be transparent with any EMS personnel that you come in contact with, that you are having a cough, a cold, a fever, so that they can put a mask on you appropriately. And also when you get to the hospital, it's important to also discuss those signs and symptoms, and then also alert the staff so that you can put on a mask and be protected, and they can put on a mask and be protected. Does that answer your question, Dr. Don?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Awesome, concise tips on how people can follow the protocol. So thank you so much. I guess the next question is, what does flattening the curve actually mean?
Right. So, the news, has put out these graphs, and I know everybody's heard this term flattening the curve, but there's actually a couple elements to flattening the curve. So one that we have instituted, which would be social distancing, okay? And that means staying apart from other people in large numbers, being at home with your families. The second aspect of that is closing down places or large institutions, which would be closing schools, closing businesses, where shutting down large events where people gather in large quantity due to the easy transmission of the virus. Okay, and then the next aspect of flattening the curve relates to building the resources of the hospital system. So if we look at it from a couple different viewpoints, one, from a social isolation standpoint, flattening the curve has to deal with the amount of time that we're going to limit interaction with people in order to prevent the spread of disease, and then also slow down the time frame in which people will become more critically sick. And that essentially gives the healthcare system a little window to get more supplies, get more resources, get more ventilators. As you read the literature, and I encourage you to not just trust media outlets, I encourage you to actually read, get online, look at the studies, go to MIT website, look at the different variables that are present, because there's a lot of things that have to do with time in terms of how long we need to maintain social isolation. And that's something that some of the other docs can touch upon, but we're kind of married to this right now, and we're probably going to be in it for a while, because one thing, you have to look at the numbers on the curve. Right now, the curves are out in 2021 if we just continue on like we're doing right now. So it's very important to actually look at the data points and be educated about what actually the curve means. But it's basically a way to utilize resources more effectively. And that is because if we look at the actual number of available hospital beds and ICU beds, if we were to have a surge and peak from not doing any social isolation measures, basically we would flood the healthcare market next month.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Kwanzaa. I really, really appreciate that. So the next question is for me. The question is, I need your advice. My child has autism, OCD, and ADHD, and is not sleeping well during our quarantine. He's scared. Any suggestions? Well, any parent would recognize that, and this is a very good question. I mean, for any child, it doesn't necessarily have to be a child with a recognized different ability. Sleep is very important, right? We often underestimate how important sleep is. And we also know that in order for children to function at their best, they need adequate bedtimes, hygiene, and that's just human. However, the behaviors exhibited specifically with children with autism the behaviors are the very things that prevent them from getting to bed. And to make matters worse, the behaviors that prevent them from sleeping properly are exacerbated by not getting enough sleep. So these behaviors would include hyperactivity, compulsions, inattention, obsessive traits, especially for this person that asked a question with OCD, as well as physical aggressiveness. And so there are a few tips that I have that I recommend for any child for that matter, but specific for kids with autism. One is you want to make sure that you have a regular bedtime routine for them. An established routine is helpful for anyone, autistic person or otherwise. A routine helps signal the body that it's time for bed. Right. And so it can be very soothing for someone who's trying to make sense of all the stimuli around them. It's also an important thing to remember that with this tip, you can set a ritual that's in a specific order. So you can make a chart with pictures for your child. I love doing this with my ADHD children as well, that they can just follow their picture and they create the picture so you can have them participate. And it's like a checklist for them. So they don't have to think about it. They just go directly to that picture and they'll have like a sense of checklist of what they need to accomplish at the end of the day and how to get ready for bed. Okay. The second idea or recommendation that I have is to eliminate screen time around bedtime. The light from the screen disrupts any type of production of melatonin, which is a neurohormone that is produced in the pineal gland of our brain. So basically, simple put, this hormone is necessary for sleep. So there's any light that's emitted from, just fluorescent light that actually breaks the molecules, and it's hard for us to even go to sleep. So melatonin helps regulate our sleep hygiene. The other thing is that exposure to screens, whether they're watching video games, playing them, or they're active, so their activity is active right before bedtime, it's going to be more difficult to go to sleep because activity and the stimuli they get from video games actually stimulate these chemicals in their brain that wants them revved up, where actually you're trying to counteract that and trying to get them to bed. So I recommend about at least an hour and a half before bedtime, you want to get your child ready for bed. Bath and showering, you know, the temperature, hot temperature helps soothe them, helps calm them. Pressure and touch, specifically for my autistic kids, feel more comfortable and calming, like a general massage or rub down with lavender oil. That can also help. Soft music in the background, classical music, as a preference, any music without words, as well as bedtime stories that you're reading just an old-fashioned way. Get that book out and read a bedtime story. That can also be soothing. All right. The next question is, what are the psychological effects from being quarantined? Wow, what an excellent question. So the adverse effects of quarantine have really not been previously determined in a systematic manner. So we really don't have good data that actually shows us the direct, causal psychological effects as a result of being quarantined. However, there was a study done in 2003, and it was a study from the SARS, another coronavirus type that occurred. And 2004, the study happened. In 2003, SARS, the epidemic happened, but it did not become a pandemic. And the reason why we don't have a lot of information from that data is because it was well contained. And so it didn't cause a lot of national, crises. So what we do have is, information that we can take from that study. And I just want to note three things. One is that depression and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, symptoms were highest reported, respectively, in this study. So respectively, 31% depressed, 29% had post-traumatic stress. Longer durations of quarantine were associated with the increased prevalence of PTSD, and those that were indirectly or directly affected even were at a higher risk. So that doesn't just mean if you're at home and you're quarantined, but that also can mean if you're caring for patients who have, the virus or impacts on the virus. This risk is moderate if you have direct or indirect contact, if you're caring for the patient as a doctor or even caring for the patient as a loved one. So what can you do to prevent, manage, and treat these symptoms? One is you want to maintain a sense of normalcy, all right? It's important to do that in order to prevent psychological effects from overwhelming you. So try to create a normal schedule in your home, and it can be done, and you may actually enjoy it. You may actually find it peaceful. The other is, pray, eat, love. Well, I love that. You want to pray, you want to eat healthy, and you want to love on people that are around you, your loved ones, all right? So, definitely do that. Maintain sleep hygiene and adequate, healthy diet. That's important. You want to get some exercise, maintain activity. There are a lot of apps and also things on TV that are free, during this time. So take advantage of those opportunities. Get outside, all right? It's okay if you're outside. Quarantine doesn't mean that you're always in the house. It's okay to get a breath of fresh air, but you just want to keep your social distance. So if it's in your backyard, front yard, wherever it may be, play with the kids, play kickball, play dodgeball, those good old, events that we used to do in elementary, middle school. Go ahead and get the ball back out and go ahead and do those. And you want to stay connected. It's so important. We're social beings. So in order to prevent depression, definitely you want to stay connected and make sure that you use virtual space as your advantage. All right, Dr. Mia is next. Dr. Mia, OBGYN. Dr. Mia, your first question is, what are some good supplements for weight management?
Well, I'm happy you asked. So one of my favorite ones is serotonin. So it's easy to find, it helps with anxiety, and it usually decreases emotional eating. So a good serotonin product is good for controlling that anxiety and wanting to go eat snacks with the kids in the afternoon after you've been with them all day and you're super tired and you just need something to kind of relieve you. So I recommend you take it like early afternoon, so maybe right after lunch, and then take it again in 2 to 3 hours, and you may notice that you don't have as much of the emotional eating cravings. Another one that can kind of help with your metabolism, some that a lot of people use anyway, is green tea. And then Garcinia cambogia can also help with the appetite. So of course, making sure when you're doing supplements, you're actually getting quality supplements. All supplements are not created equal, but if you can actually find, you know, a supplement line with good, healthy supplements, these are some of the things you should look for. One of my favorites is alpha lipoic acid, and that's pretty easy to find, but I like it because it helps so many things. So it helps with inflammation, it helps with healthy skin, aging, it helps with your memory function, and most importantly to me is it helps to control the blood sugar levels. So for most of us who are insulin resistant, it helps to keep those insulin levels down. When your insulin levels are down, that will help you significantly with losing weight and burning fat. So those are some of the things that we can be doing outside of our behaviors. And we know we're trying to establish healthy behaviors. However, that may be difficult. So God gave us a whole bunch of stuff on the earth that we can use to aid us. So they can help with our anxiety, help control our appetite, have us to focus on something else, not get frustrated because we can't remember just tons of wonderful plants and herbs that God gave us. So we got to use them.
I love it, Dr. Mia. Dr. Mia, the second question is, I can't get into my doctor and I've been taking hormones. What are some suggestions that I can do to help with my hormonal balance until I get an appointment with my physician?
Well, you know, for many women, so say women who are over 30, one of their bigger complaints are going to be symptoms associated with lower testosterone. So lower testosterone will decrease sexual function, cause problems with sleep, night sweats, fatigue, mood changes. And there's a great herb that helps to naturally increase your testosterone levels. And I don't even want to try to pronounce it, but I'm going to go take a stab at it. It's Eurycoma longifolio. We're just going to go with that. But that works really well for naturally increasing the testosterone, which will help with mood and energy and all of those things that we really may have a hard time with everything else going on. For my younger ladies who are still having cycles and they are really having a lot of PMS and they are having a lot of cramps, the evening primrose works really well for decreasing cramps during the cycle, and it also helps with PMS and mood symptoms. Magnesium is also really good to use during that cycle time. And then one last one that most people know about but forget about is DHEA. That's going to be the precursor to all of your major hormones, and that is going to help you to just have more balance. So some of my favorite things, especially for my women who may not be able to get in and get their hormones as they want to, you know, they're really abiding by the social distance. Those are some nice supplements that you can use to help you get through this difficult time.
Thank you, Dr. Mia. I know the women appreciate that. Thank you so much. Dr. Nicole, family medicine physician. Dr. Nicole, your first question is, my church is closed and I feel terrible about not going. Does this mean that I lack faith in God?
Thanks for asking. So why am I asking this question? Well, some people call me a minister or something, I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with this. I'm very spiritual and I do like to minister. So I'm very glad that you asked me that question, Dr. Dawn. So to all of my church going constituents who are watching right now or gonna catch the replay, I am actually really glad to hear that the churches are following the recommendations for social distancing and no more than 10 people gathering together at one time. So, but does it mean that there's a lack of faith if they have decided to follow the directions? Well, let's break that down. First of all, you do need to follow the directions of the law of the land. If the law of the land right now is saying that it's not safe, then we do need to follow instructions, right? And so what do they say? You have to be obedient, right? So obedience, that's one of the first, you got to be obedient. So I'm glad that they are following. But does that mean they have a lack of faith? No, it does not. There is a difference between faith and caution. I know that the Bible says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but there is a difference between having fear and having caution. All right. And I heard this from one of my favorite pastors, Pastor Angie Martin, and she says that caution comes from avoiding danger or mistakes, whereas fear is rooted in a disbelief, right? And so we have to understand that caution is taken so that we can avoid danger, right? And then God also says in the Bible, he says to try me, but he doesn't say to test me, right? So just like we don't run red lights thinking that, oh, we got faith, so we can go run a red light and that car's not going to hit me, or I can go and play with an electrical outlet and I'm not going to get shocked. That's not a lack of faith, right? That's using caution and avoiding danger. So same way, when we are social distancing, we're not saying that we're lacking faith or we don't believe that God won't protect us from this virus. But what we're saying is, in order to, like Dr. Quanta said, flatten the curve and not put other people at risk or not put ourselves who might have some underlying conditions at risk, what we're going to do is use wisdom, and social distancing is part of that, but it does not mean that you have a lack of faith.
Dr. Nicole, where can I send you my offering? Word right there. You know, it's difficult for me to even, you know, not being able to communicate or congregate with members of my church. So I can imagine how it is for everyone else. And you know, when I'm seeing churches on, you know, a lot of them are, you know, most of them, majority are actually rebroadcasting their sermons, you know, their church services. But I still see some people going. So I
know, and I would say, please stop. Don't try God now. Don't try him. Now, I will also say this, as much as I would love your offerings, but what you do need to do is still support your church, because the church is still it still has to function, and they still got bills to pay. They still got to pay their ministers, and they still got to pay their musicians and their pastors. So please send your tithes and offering to the church still, as much as you can, so that you can support the churches as they are helping you stay healthy by shutting down for right now temporarily, right? Delayed is not denied. Amen.
Amen. Y'all heard it here. All right. And Dr. Nicole, the next question is, how can I create and maintain financial stability?
Financial stability. I'm glad you asked that, Dr. Dawn. So one of the things that I'm always trying to teach my patients, my veterans, even my pastors who are my patients as well, is that we have to be whole person healthy, mind, body, spirit, and finances. So what can we do during this time? I know a lot of you aren't working right now, or you have been furloughed, or some of us have actually been laid off, right? And so money is tight. So we talked about yesterday applying for unemployment, excuse me. So what other things can you do to maintain financial health right now? This is a good time, especially if you're at home and you have some extra time, to actually go through your bank account and find ways that you are being charged for things that you didn't even realize, like that 99-cent recurrent fee for an app on your phone, or for that, you know, that $5.99 to monitor something like I said, most of the time it's apps. Check your phones, y'all. Check your phones, because usually we have these recurring apps that we're not using, right? And so now would be a good time to go ahead and shut those off. You could save some money that way. You also want to make sure that you are calling your creditors and seeing if you can get things waived right now. I know a lot of credit card companies, mortgage companies, even your lighting and your bills are allowing you to defer. Now, don't go crazy, y'all, because just because it's deferred doesn't mean that you won't have to pay that back at some point, right? And so, but you can actually defer right now while you're trying to figure things out, and then we can get back into the swing of things once we get back into our regular lifestyle. But the main thing I would say is go through and find out other things that you can cut out, right? So you can cut out things like, we're not going and spending money now for fast food. So that's one way we can cut out. We're not going to spend money on coffee. So that's another way we can cut out. But again, get those recurring finance charges, those recurring charges, and cut those out. Also, pare down on things like cable right now, because a lot of places right now are even offering free internet and free cable and free streaming. And so go ahead and cut off the internet if you have to, right? Because that is not something that's a necessity. And you can find things that are not necessities. And I would say stop those bills. And that's one way that you can maintain financial health during this time.
You just drop all the gems, Dr. Nicole. So as a travel, right, boom, right? I told y'all should be here. And if you know somebody is not here that you know should be here, go ahead and invite them. Go ahead, take 10 seconds and invite them. So Dr. Nicole, does that mean that Southwest has a $39 special that I can go from Houston to Michigan, which is my hometown? Should I take advantage of that and go there next month?
I sure would not. Now, if you're going to buy it, maybe buy it for after June. Okay. I'm not saying that we're going to be on lockdown for that far, but go ahead and at least by then, hopefully, prayerfully, that we will be back up and running. But no, y'all, stay your tails at home, right? Don't get on that plane. And then if you do, which I hope you don't, but if you do, don't call me and ask me to give you a mask or to give you some gloves. Okay. I'm telling you now, because I'm not going to do it. Anyway, no, stay your tails at home. Don't get on that plane. Don't travel. Okay.
All right, Dr. Cole, thanks so much. Dr. Jamie, lifestyle pharmacist. Dr. Jamie. Hey, Dr. Jamie. So the first question for you is, what do I do if I need medication refills?
Ooh, okay. So this one is especially important for all of our friends out there who have chronic medical conditions and you take maintenance medications every month. So you should be looking at your prescription bottles and be noticing how many refills you have left. What I don't want you to do is to run completely out and then you're like, oh, I'm out of my meds. You should be on top of that, all right? So what I'm saying is, before you get completely to no refills, be proactive. That's the time. The time is now, okay, for you to reach out to your primary care physician and say, hey, I know I don't have to come into the office. I don't have an appointment coming up, or you all are kind of scaling back what patients you're seeing and prioritizing them differently, but I'm about to be out of refills. And trust and believe that there is someone in the office that is managing the refill line if you have to leave a message, or someone will be answering phones to address prescription refill needs. So be proactive, do your part. The pharmacies out in the community also help with refill authorization requests. Once you are out of refills, their systems are set up to automatically generate a fax refill authorization request to your physician's office, should that information be on file. Hopefully it is, right? So they have that capability as well, but I don't want you to just rely on the community pharmacies. They are busy, they're very overwhelmed, they're following different, protocols and parameters, trying to keep everybody safe. So you have to own your part. Yes, they are there to assist you, but you have to take ownership. This is your medication and your health, so do your part. So let's say that even though you have called, left messages, and the pharmacy has sent the refill authorization request to your doctor's office and they haven't heard back. Well, I have good news. I've consulted with some of my colleagues out in the community, and some of the chains, I'm not going to go on record and say which particular pharmacies, you can ask them that specific detail, but there are things that are being done to provide an emergency 30-day fill for a maintenance medication that you have been getting filled with them. All right. So no one is hopefully going to fall through the cracks, but I need you to be proactive, do your part, make the calls too before you run completely out and have no refills. But pharmacies are instituting this 30-day emergency refill process if they haven't been able to reach your doctor about the refill authorization.
Awesome information, Dr. Jamie. Very important information. Thanks so much for that. The second question is, what are your suggestions on self-care ideas, and why is it important than ever to develop a daily self-care routine?
Oh, wow. Okay, so we are living in a very different time right now. So for many women, I preach this self-care, self-love message. So if you've been to anything that I've spoken at, or if you've seen me on the internet, I talk about self-love or self-care a lot. And now more than ever, it's important for us to develop a consistent daily self-care routine. You are stressed, you are worried, although we aren't supposed to worry, we're supposed to pray and trust God. But I know some people still have, this underlying worry, whether they want to admit it or not. And, the children are home with you. Maybe you're not going to work. There's so many things that have just kind of been dropped in your lap. All these little bombs, feel like they have gone off in your life and things are not normal. So to help you manage your feelings, to help you manage that stress, that anxiety, it's important to do something to mitigate all of that. And you can do that by loving and nurturing yourself. And it doesn't have to be, well, it can't be, going to the spa right now, because hopefully, your massage therapist is not doing massage right now, not going to the hair salon right now. And I love to get my hair done, but I'm sorry. If that is your self-care, you know, getting your manicure, your pedicure, we're not doing those things anymore because we have to keep that distance, but you can still do those things at home. So now is a good time to DIY you some facial products, you know, some things that you have bought that you have not used, because we all as ladies pick up things just in case. Go under that bathroom cabinet, go in, you know, go in that closet, pull out that stuff that you bought and never used. And you can do this home relaxation, you know, spa facial experience in your bathroom. So just pick something to do daily for yourself. It's not related to anything around the house with the husband, the kids, significant other. It's something for you. All right. The weather is nice. I live in Memphis. The weather has been beautiful this week. So get out in the yard. If gardening is your thing, now's the perfect time to pull up some weeds, you know, tend to your garden if that's your thing. But just think about what you enjoy, something for you, keyword, you. I'm getting close to the camera, you, something for you to nurture yourself, love yourself, and relax. At least 30 minutes if you can. If you can't carve out 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Read a book, turn on some music, shut everybody out. It's for you. All right. I know I went on and on. I'm very passionate about self-love. Okay. But yes, it is important to implement this ritual daily and keep it going. Once you get your freedom back and you can get back out in the world, I still want you to continue this practice. All right. All right.
That's beautiful, Dr. Jamie, because that also ties into just emotional regulation, right? If we look good, we feel good. You know, YouTube is a great resource, and find out how to do that makeup routine, how to do that hair routine. I love that you're mentioning these awesome ideas for self-care, because hashtag self-care matters, right? Me time matters. I love everything that you said about that. So no, you didn't go on and on. You can continue to preach that word. Awesome, Dr. Jamie. Thank you so much. Dr. Cree. Well, before I get to Dr. Cree, I just want to thank everyone who's joined us right now at this space and for our second Facebook Live event. Thank you so much. You all have loved on us, supported us, all our communities. Hey, y'all, we are saying hello to you. We're sending you virtual hugs and love out there. We ask that you please look at this, participate by asking your questions. If you have any suggested tips that have been helpful for you and your loved ones, share them right now, all right? Share them with us and share with your family. Share this live right now with people that you know will benefit from this, right? I think we all can. Where else would you get information from 8 of the most liveliest, dedicated, educated, sophisticated, beautiful Black doctors, right? For free, y'all. We are here for you. So please share that, all right? Dr. Cree, family medicine. Hey, Dr. Cree. So the first question for you is, how do I protect my sanity when being at work was my me time?
Wow. Ooh, so Dr. Jamie was all in my business, y'all. I think she had read my notes, but that's okay. That's okay. So I am, my platform is Working Wise. I absolutely love to work. Like, I'm like, yes, it's 7:30. It's time for me to get ready and get out and go. When they said it was time to close down and Joy was going to be at home with me all day, I think I just like had some great habits brought up in places that I'm scared to tell y'all where they came. So I'm like, oh my gosh, how are other women dealing with this? After the 3rd day, I was like, I'm going to walk. And I'm gonna just keep walking. There's a little, little stream back there. I'm just gonna keep walking, and y'all can figure this thing out because I was not built for this. Applaud all the stay-at-home mamas. That is not my ministry. That is not my ministry. It's not, and I'm sure it's not a lot of yours. So I think the big thing is that I found that I had to set my own schedule. So the first couple of days, I was like laying in the bed. It's 9 o'clock. I hadn't gotten up and done what I need to do. My head was looking a mess. And so I was like, okay, this can't be life. We got to do this for at least 2 weeks. We have to get a schedule. So she has a schedule. So I started concentrating on her and her schedule that I did not think of my schedule. So by the fourth day, I was like, I got to do something for myself. So I said, okay, I'm going to do her stuff. And then at a certain point in the day, I'm going to go off and do some things for myself. And I've just been very open and honest with her. And I said, hey, mommy needs a few little time. She said, well, mommy, you had time when you was on the toilet. I was like, that don't really count. That does not count because you were standing right there watching me. Okay, so like just go, and you take your iPad. This is time, take it, add that little extra screen time. Give me 20 minutes to myself. I may not do anything. I'm not a big TV watcher, so I may just lay there and just kind of take in the moment and just say, okay, I can make it through this. I have a whole lot of affirmations that I've built up, but setting a schedule is big. And try something new. I used to read a lot, but I've gotten away from that because I am a business owner, plus, you know, being a wife, being a mother, being a doctor, all these things that you get away from doing something fun. So I got on my Audible. I had 10 credits on my Audible, 10. That means I hadn't bought a book in a long, long, long time. So I was like, okay, I text my sister. I was like, what you reading? She gave me all these names. And so I started downloading them. So while I'm washing clothes, I hate to wash clothes, but now I got to wash clothes. Now I got to cook. I'm cooking every day. Who does these? I mean, who does that? So I'm like, I need to be at work because I need some sanity. So this week we've decided where I go in, there's no patients there. I go in for half a day. He mans Zoe school. Then I come home and I man Zoe school. Then he goes to work where no one's there. So we're just kind of navigating that thing. Have a schedule, but don't be so rigid with your schedule that you're not flexible. And like Dr. Jamie said, having some me time where you meditate, where you take, you know, a hot bath, where you just having your self-care time, because self-care is not selfish.
Hashtag self-care is not selfish. That's a word too, Dr. Cree. I love it because, you know, there's has to be a way for us to remember these important facts and these important tips, right, for our overall well-being. So I love how you all are just making these emphases. That's awesome tips, Dr. Cree. The second question is, how do I keep my relationship healthy and intact now that we are all together all the time?
Ooh, child. Well, like I said, we get up and go to work half of the day still. Like 7:30 up, I'm like, baby, you going to work? He like, yes. That's okay. Change your clothes when you get in. But he's the only person there. But we are used to, we literally are 2 or 3 doors down every day. So we work in close proximity. And we're both business owners. So we have to kind of keep a routine. So we have a schedule that kind of rotates. And so I think that so having a schedule, talking about the changes in your schedule, talking about how you feel, like, oh my gosh, you can't be gone for 10 hours at your office and leave me with her for 12 hours. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to drive, and I'm just going to keep driving, you know? So finally I had to be like, I need some help in Zoe's school. It's killing me. And so he's helping me now. If you don't voice your opinions and your concerns and your needs, then you like over there like, girl, Dr. Mia, he didn't even help me with the children. He's like, Joe, I didn't even know she needed help. I thought she was Superwoman. I thought she had that. So a lot of times we get upset and we're in our feelings about what we assume that our mate should know. But oh no, I just gotten so well with telling about the things that I think I need. So amp up your pillow talk. This is a great time to learn your mate more. So, you know, like, okay, what you reading right now? You're reading something in the shower, like we're big on audibles. What you reading right now? What's going on? So we're kind of trying to learn each other more. It's been 7 years. A lot of these women have been married longer than me. And so it's like just trying to figure it out and get to know each other again. Intimacy. Make sure that you enjoy intimacy. Okay. That can mean sex. That can mean cuddling. That can mean all those fun things. And you do not have to have a mate to be intimate. There are all kinds of toys out there, and I'm sure you have them. You can just clean them off and get it going. And that's okay for church people too, okay? So make sure that you remember that you can't be so built up and backed up during this quarantine time that you just explode and they open the door and they be like, what happened to her? She just exploded up in there. Like, no. Boom. So make sure that you're, you know, having your self-care time, whether that's loving yourself, however you choose to do that, or being more intimate with your mate in so many different levels. Have a lot of sex, enjoy this time. You have no reason to be tired. You have no reason to have a headache, child. Enjoy it.
All right. And as far as protecting people from having babies and things like that, okay.
So I mean, it is what it is. If you didn't buy your condoms before the store shut down, there probably aren't many on the shelf. And we're just gonna be celebrating Corona babies come December, January, and February. May God bless you. You should have got the two side in your vasectomy when they told you to a long time ago. So enjoy yourselves. Have a good time. And may God bless you. I'm one and done.
And as a disclaimer, Dr. Creed, that is not an emergent operation, right?
That is not an emergency. They will not be doing any of those things right now. So you just enjoy yourself. Enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Thanks so much, Dr. Creed. You always come with it. Appreciate you. Dr. Jarrett, comprehensive cosmetic and implant dentist in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey. How you doing?
All is well, ladies.
So, Dr. Jarrett, thanks for being here. The first question for you is, if I have a dental emergency, do I go to the emergency room?
Okay, so you see Dr. Kwanzaa, the emergency room physician, shaking her head. Listen, even if we were not under quarantine, self-quarantine situations, if this was a typical day and there was not a pandemic, you do not go to the emergency room for a toothache. There's so many reasons why, but right now, let's talk about the main reason why. They got a little more important things to take care of, and that's really fighting a pandemic. Your toothache is really at the bottom of the totem pole. And let's be honest with each other, you probably had that tooth situation going on before coronavirus even came about. I'm just one of those dentists that are real. I keep it 100 with you. You do not go to the emergency room for a toothache. Now, what you can do to treat it at home, two things. I would say Tylenol, if you can take Tylenol. If you're not exhibiting any signs or symptoms related to the coronavirus, then you can also utilize ibuprofen for the toothache, or a combination of Tylenol and ibuprofen. As a practicing dentist, I don't even prescribe narcotics anymore, and I've been practicing for close to 15 years. I do a combination of Tylenol and ibuprofen. There are over-the-counter things that you can use if you have a hole in your tooth. There are some things over the counter that you can use to fill that hole that you can find in Walgreens, Target, Walmart, any drugstore. So to answer that, do not waste your time going to the emergency room for that toothache. Now, if you have a dentist currently, it is best that you call your dentist. And most dentists right now are not practicing, but it's best that you call your dentist and leave a message on their answering service. They will definitely get back with you once you let them know what's going on, and you'll have communication with your dentist. Most of us are going into the office, but only for emergencies. We're not going into the office if you say you have a chipped tooth. That's not an emergency. That's not substantial enough for us to come into the office, because at this point, nobody's seeing you. You're not seeing anybody. You're not supposed to be seeing anybody. We're only coming into the office for emergencies, true emergencies, meaning pain and or swelling. Okay? All right.
So, Dr. Jarrett, how subjective? So pain is subjective, right?
It is.
How can we determine like what's emergent as far as pain? Is there like a rating system? I mean, something that people know what emergent pain is?
My definition of pain is, I always ask my questions, is this something that is keeping you up at night? Because if any of you have ever had a toothache at night, that thing gets real, okay? It talks to you when you don't want to be spoken to, okay? So I tell my patients, if you are having issues sleeping, if this tooth is waking you up at night, that definitely is something that constitutes calling your dentist. If you can't function throughout the day, yes, call your dentist.
You heard it from the dentist herself. All right. Thanks, Dr. Jarrett. And the second question is, what happens if my temporary crown comes off?
All right. So a temporary crown, having a crown done is usually It can be a 2-appointment process. So maybe you started the process before things blew up with the coronavirus. Maybe you started the process and you're waiting to have that crown seated. Well, it really will depend on your dentist if your dentist still will see you for an appointment to have that crown seated. In the meantime, yes, it is best to keep that temporary crown on. Why? Because covering the tooth will help decrease sensitivity. Number two, having that crown on will maintain the space for that area, because if the crown comes off, your teeth can shift, which means that the permanent crown will not fit. So, as I mentioned before, there is a temporary cement material that is in the store. Listen, there are some things in the store that you probably should do, but most things you shouldn't. But this is one thing that I'm pretty sure your dentist will tell you is okay to do. Go to the toothpaste aisle where you see the floss and toothpaste and mouthwash, all that good stuff. Hit up that temporary filling material. All you have to do is just fill it inside the temporary crown and place it back on your tooth. It should fit on your tooth like a puzzle fits into, like the pieces of a puzzle fit into the squares. Other than that, if your dentist, most of the dentists are probably not gonna see that as an emergency, because we just talked about what an emergency means, right? Pain and or swelling. But other than that, you should be able to do that, and that should take care of it until this quarantine situation is over, and that should be able to help you out.
Thanks, Dr. J. I had no idea you can even purchase those products from your store.
Yeah, they have things for you guys.
Thanks, Dr. Jared. I really appreciate it. Dr. Sam, naturopathic physician. Dr. Sam, your first question is, what foods can I eat to boost my immune system?
Oh my goodness. So thanks for the question. There's an exhaustive list because food is medicine. Food is medicine, y'all. So I have to say a caveat. I am, have a mastery in blood type science. So of course, I think that you should be eating according to your blood type. If you don't know your blood type, I'm sorry at this point because you can't go get your blood type done. But if you do know it, then you should be eating according to your blood type. I have several videos on that on another site. So let's not talk about that. Let's talk about specifics right now. So I'm kind of going to go into what I fixed my own family. So I've got a family. There's 4 of us in the house. I cooked a huge pot of mixed greens because greens have iron and vitamin C, and they have magnesium, and they're just chock full of vitamins and minerals that we need. And guess what? It makes something called pot liquor. And if y'all don't know what pot liquor is, y'all ain't from the South. Okay? It's called pot liquor. And it's the juice from when you boil the collard greens and the mustard greens and you mix those greens together. So in that juice is also the nutrients that you're also eating. And you can actually freeze the juice. So people used to actually drink pot liquor as a tonic for health. So now chefs actually freeze it, or they use the pot liquor and they actually use it for soups and stews and things like that. So I made a big pot of greens, and then now I used some of that pot liquor actually for some chicken soup because it helps to flavor the chicken soup, right? So chicken soup is actually medicinal. There's a reason why they tell you, oh, baby, you want some chicken soup? There's a reason. So let me go through, if y'all don't mind, the ingredients of medicinal chicken soup and why you put those ingredients in chicken soup. So let's start with chicken. Chicken is a high protein content, high protein. Protein is actually needed by our immune cells and our antibodies to keep us from being fatigued and having weakness, right? So we need the protein, but don't put chicken breast in your chicken soup. That's not what you need in chicken soup. You have to have the bones. The bones have marrow, And it's when you're actually, boiling the chicken down, the marrow comes out of the bone, and that helps to decrease inflammation. So I'm sure you guys have seen like bone broth out there now for sale and this, that, and the other. You need the bones in the chicken soup. So you need to have a whole chicken in your chicken soup because you want the bones. So a couple of things that I like to add to my chicken soup are celery and carrots. So those two things are in the same family. So celery specifically has fiber. It decreases inflammation. It flushes your liver out. So the liver is the largest organ of detox. It helps to detox all those things, right? So it's flushing your liver. It's a natural diuretic, and it makes you pee out the toxins. Carrots are an awesome source of beta carotene. Beta carotene is that precursor to vitamin A. And we talked about vitamin A yesterday, about the fact that it protects your mucous membranes. And this is really crucial right now, specifically for viruses and infections. We want to protect our mucous membranes. So another two things that are in the same family are garlic and onions. They're in the allicin family. Garlic helps to detox heavy metals, but it's also antiviral, antibacterial. We want that right now, right? So onions are a fantastic source of antioxidants. So they're really good as well. So that's the base of my soup that I actually make. I actually add some squash and some other stuff in there. Normally people will put their chicken soup over rice or over a pasta. And the reason for that is that it's a carbohydrate and it actually gives you a little bit of energy. So that's the reason for the rice or the pasta. So that's what I'm doing for my family. Those are the things that you can eat to boost your immune system. So all those things that I put in the soup, you can have them separately. Cook with some mushroom. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys mushrooms. So mushrooms have vitamin D and selenium. So that's a really good something that you can eat right now as well. So all these things that I'm telling you about, these are great sources to boost your immunity by themselves. Cook with them in other dishes and whatnot, but make a pot of chicken soup. Make a pot of chicken soup.
Wow, thanks so much, Dr. Sam. Not only did you mention foods, but you mentioned the contents of foods, the vitamins and natural minerals, and all of those things are just important that make up why it's important to take in certain foods for your immune system and overall health. Thanks so much. The next question is, what else can I do to calm my nerves other than take medications?
Oh my gosh. So Dr. Don touched on this really great yesterday. So y'all need to go look at the replay because Dr. Don touched on this. I think in some level, all of us kind of touched on it. Dr. Jamie with her self-love, Dr. Cree. I think all of us have kind of touched on different things that we can do. One of the things that I'm going to suggest is something that we might not have heard of, and it's called tapping. So tapping actually combines acupuncture with intentional sayings, so affirmations and intentions. So there are 9 acupuncture points. And for those of you guys don't know what acupuncture is where we actually take a needle on certain points and we're trying to balance out the chi, which is meridians within our bodies. So we use 9 acupuncture points for tapping. So the 9 acupuncture points are right here. Do 20, the sides, right here, right here, right here, right here. You can't see it underneath my arm right here. So those are the 9 points. All right. So everybody's doing it with me. So the reason for us tapping on the acupuncture points is to align and balance the chi. But when we add in positive sayings and thoughts and intentions, it actually activates theta waves in our brain. Theta waves are the same waves that are activated when we're actively doing meditation. And I'm sure Dr. Kwanzaa at some point is going to go into theta waves and things like that and how music affects that. But this is a way for us to do that. So what it looks like, you would say something like, even though I'm stuck in the house, I'm okay. Even though I'm stuck in the house, I'm okay. Even though I'm stuck in the house, I'm okay. I can't stand being in the house. I think I'm going crazy. I don't know what to do. So when you're tapping on the points, the first couple of rotations that you're doing is you're having a venting session. Just like if you were talking to your girlfriend or something like that. Look, I can't stand this. So you're tapping on the points. You're opening up the chi to be receptive. Then once you're feeling like you've gotten that like session out of you, then you're going to actually go into the positive thoughts. I'm okay. There's a reason why we're doing this. I'm having more family time. I'm enjoying my kids. I'm learning new things. I'm getting more rest, those type of things. So you go through the positive statements after that, and it activates the theta waves, which actually is like meditation, and it kind of calms down anxiety, depression, and your thoughts. Hope that answers your question.
It answered my question.
There'll be a video. I'll put a video in the group.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The tapping, like the moringa or something, you know? I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that. Thanks, Dr. Sarah, for that valuable information.
You're welcome.
Yes, appreciate it. So you all, you've heard from 8 board certified physicians in each of their specialties that answered the questions that we received about how to maintain and how to thrive during this time of this pandemic. I want to open the floor and give all the doctors an opportunity to state anything they want to reiterate, any hashtags, any, recommendations that they forgot to suggest and that just kind of came to mind. We'll open the floor. So I'll start with Dr. Kwanzaa.
Hey y'all, what's up? Why do I always feel like this is so weird for me? Because in ER, we're kind of like the laid back kids. I'm the DJ, chilling, nothing's too serious. We got it. But I feel like the bad news bear right now. So I got the heavy questions, like I'm doing some heavy lifting over here. So we got a question. Well, one, Dr. Jenna, no, can't nobody go get your kids. We can Zoom you, but we can't go get them, okay? Not right now, sis, but we praying for you in the village, all right? From our chat on Facebook. And then Rosalind Spells said, is there yet a racial demographic profile to coronavirus? In other words, we all know that being immunocompromised is a risk factor for a severe or fatal outcome. But is there a racial demographic that appears to be more susceptible to a fatal or severe outcome? So I think that's a great question. And in this case, we don't have enough information, I think, to make an accurate depiction about what racial group. But we know there is no melanin immunity. I hope we have gotten past that myth. This past week, we've seen numerous people affected of all racial backgrounds. What I'm going to tell you is that access to healthcare in a timely manner, access to quality healthcare in a timely manner is going to be a deciding factor. So I would say comorbidities, region in which you live. And I'm going to give you an example why I've been watching the cases in Louisiana so intensely and in the South. In Louisiana, they've had a super surge of cases in the last couple of days, secondary to more testing. Louisiana currently only has 110 hospitals in the state. If you compare that to a place like Texas that has 346. So in Louisiana, in terms of beds, there's only 14,000 beds in the whole state. Okay. In Texas, we have, we're looking at 58,000 beds. So you can see how the disparity in treatment and economic resources for hospitals is going to be really the determining factor in what kind of care you get. Now, I'm a big proponent in acknowledging racial disparities in healthcare. So if you live in an area that does not have quick or convenient healthcare centers near you, and that typically tends to be in rural or lower socioeconomic areas, it may disproportionately affect those in those areas, all those who make up that area. So you want to be prepared. So you need to know what hospital you would go to, what numbers you would call, your health department. You need to find a way to access your healthcare system. And so if we start to look at the map of where outbreaks are starting to happen, start looking at the map. It's really, really interesting. It's bordering states and things like that. But I think that areas like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, where we typically have lower hospital beds and have a history of racial disparity in medicine is going to show its head as it always does. Controversial, but true.
There's Dr. Kwanzaa. She's a DJ at night, but she be coming with those facts during the day and night. Thank you, Dr. Kwanzaa. I mean, just seeing this on a global scale, what information you presented is very relatable, and you made it very portable for us to understand. So remember, when you know knowledge, when you know something, you can make informed decisions on how to proceed, with the next step and what you need to do to safeguard you and your family. So thank you so much, Dr. Kwanzaa. I really appreciate you participating yesterday and this evening. I really do. Dr. Mia.
What's up? So one thing that I want to remind everybody is that there is this thing called telemedicine that has been opened up for the United States of America. So definitely Blue Cross Blue Shield and many of the other payers now are allowing you to still see your doctor. So even though we know we shouldn't be going to the doctor's office for anything that's not urgent or emergent, we can still call the doctor, make an appointment. Insurance will cover it. You don't usually have to pay a copay during this time, and your deductibles don't necessarily apply. So they are making it where you could talk to your doctors from their home. Some doctors are open. We have to be open for certain procedures because some things you just have to do a procedure for. But most of those doctors' offices are making it where you don't bring your kids in. You answer some screening questions to make sure that you haven't been exposed to the virus, you're not having any symptoms. They're taking your fever, and it's mainly for the things that we cannot do over the phone. So the blessing in all of this is that now everybody has more access to their doctors to ask questions, to get refills. Many times patients need refills, but they also need an appointment before that refill because they have to be checked in between. And for some medications, it's not really safe just to automatically give that refill. But now you can make an appointment with your doctor. I'm seeing patients even at different times of the day. They will call you. You can do it through the EMR. They can answer your questions, make sure it's safe for you to do it, call your prescriptions in, and you have a doctor's visit. You're not having to pay anything out of pocket for most insurances and in most instances. So please take advantage of this wonderful platform because now we can have access. So some of those questions that you have, like, should I go to the doctor? You can easily make an appointment with your doctor, not pay money out of pocket, and get your answers answered so that they can really treat you and get the real information and the real history. Because so many things we can just get a history for. We don't need a physical. But when you need a physical, many doctors are making it a safe option for you, but they only want you coming if it's urgent or emergent or something that we can't do via telemedicine. So don't forget about your telemedicine. Don't not get your prescriptions because everybody has good access. And even some doctors like me, for my patients who may not have insurance, at a very affordable cost, they can still make an appointment and I can still make sure that they're getting the right medication and we're treating the right thing. So don't forget about your telemedicine. We have more access and we should definitely take advantage of this in the United States of America because we have not had this kind of access probably ever. So.
I was just about to say that, Dr. Mia. First of all, great points that you brought out. But as a telemedicine provider, I see more patients, right, in the states where I'm licensed. And a lot of us don't go to the doctor for so many reasons. Maybe it's access, maybe it's financial, maybe our doctor is too far away. There's so many reasons why we don't see a doctor. So I'm praying that the state of medical care changes and they start incorporating telemedicine for these type of, ideas, non-urgent matters, psychiatrists, therapists, we definitely can conduct appointments, via telemedicine. Any other specialty, I'm sure if you're on the phone for doctors, you can make that into a telemedicine, contact. So, hopefully we'll get more people in responsible for their healthcare with this, blessing in disguise moment. So thanks so much, Dr. Mia. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
Yes, thank you. It has been awesome. This has been wonderful. Dr. Nicole.
Hey.
Hey, any final words you want to say?
I got so many, but I just wanted to respond to a couple things in the chat. One thing, I've seen a couple things where people have been asking about masks. And let me tell y'all, first of all, don't get on my list, right? So I get so angry when I'm like driving down the street and I see people wearing a mask and I'm like, for what? What are you wearing a mask for? First of all, save those masks for your healthcare provider, okay? who are being exposed to these viruses and these aerosolized virus particles, right? The masks that some of you are wearing don't actually even protect you all from anything, right? They're not locked down on the sides. They're not locked down on the tops. And so if you're just wearing just a regular old surgical mask, it's not protecting you. So you don't need to wear a surgical mask when you're flying on a plane or when you're going to the grocery store, because those surgical masks actually would be if you were coughing and you want to protect other people from getting your aerosolized viruses and germs, right? And so you don't need to wear a mask. Please save those masks for the healthcare providers, especially the N95 masks, which do make a good tight seal. And most of y'all probably don't even know how to wear them anyway, because you have to be fitted for those. Let me get off my box. But those are for healthcare providers. Okay, so please, y'all, don't stop running out and buying these masks and gloves. Y'all don't, come on now, just wash your hands and you will be okay, and stop touching your face. You'll be okay. Also, real quick, Dr. Dawn, people need to go out and give blood. Please, I know you're locked into the house, right? And I know that you're not going out, but when you do go out to the grocery store real quick, just to pick up your bread or your milk, right? And we're not hoarding, we're just getting what we need. But please stop in the grocery store parking lot. There's like a Red Cross truck out there and they're getting blood. Getting blood. Please give blood, because we are running low and we are in desperate need of blood products right now. So stop stealing the masks and cut it out with the gloves, and please give blood. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. And use your telemedicine. And it's not new. It's been around for a long time. Most of us have been providing it for a long time. Do it. All right. Oh, and one more quick thing. Chronic medical conditions, if you have it, address them, because that makes you high risk. So you know good and well that 150 over 90 blood pressure, that's chronic condition that makes you at higher risk for COVID-19. Get your blood pressure treated and taken care of, and that can be done on telemedicine. All right, that's it. I ain't got nothing more.
Oh, shout out real quick from the chat to Rain. She said give blood. She's got well, let me not disclose that, but Rain said give some blood. She is a recipient of that. So she needs y'all's help. So please go out and give blood. They have a screening process. They're using appropriate sterilization techniques. They're spacing chairs, but there is a dire need for blood in this country right now, and it will affect everyone soon. See, bad news Brown. Every time, like, yo, I don't like it, but that's okay. And Quarantine DJ said, we'll be going down. I got to get a date. Let me see when I'm off work. We doing it. Bye.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Nicole. We appreciate those gems, those nuggets. Again, you took us back to church. Thank you, Dr. Kwanzaa. You're right. I mean, giving blood is very important. You know, Dr. Nicole and Dr. Kwanzaa both mentioned, and there's so many people in our country that needs it. So make sure you give blood. Just want to reiterate it again. All right, Dr. Jamie, the lifestyle pharmacist, any other words that you want to say?
Yeah, so when Dr. Sam was talking about food as medicine, I was about to jump out of my chair, because clean eating, you all, is my thing. And I highly recommend, and I really am a proponent and an advocate for everyone cleaning up their eating habits. And while we are at home, we have gone to the grocery store, we've gotten what we needed. But if we all just take inventory of all the things in our pantry, way in the back, deep down in the freezer, those things that kind of get pushed to the back that we really don't cook often, now is the time to go back and get some of those things. And so my point is, while we're cooking and we're eating at home, we want to keep everything as fresh and as clean as possible. So, you know, if we're not buying fresh produce right now, some people are concerned about buying fresh produce thinking it's going to spoil. Well, frozen fruits and vegetables are just as good. So, you know, make sure that, I know you got some carrots down there in the freezer, you got some mixed vegetables, those peas and carrots. I mean, I'm telling you what I have in my freezer that we hadn't cooked. But guess what? We're going down, deep down in there, and we're cooking those things, because this is not the time to be wasteful. You know, we need to utilize everything that we have. So use this time to be creative. Try some different recipes. You know, get on the internet and look up some recipes. Call some of your church members. You know, we're all home, right? People aren't going to church on Sundays right now. So this will be a great time to really do some fellowshipping and, you know, get on the phone or text them and ask about it like a recipe swap. So we can keep it fun, we can keep it interesting, and definitely keep it clean. All right, we're going to keep our meals clean. So lean proteins, we're going to try to avoid dropping everything in the fry daddy. Okay, I live in the South. I know we love to deep fry everything, but let's try to give fry daddy a break. Okay, so let's think about baking, broiling, grilling, fire up the grill, smoking meats and making sure that it's the lean cuts and like trimming the fat and removing the skin. All right, I could go on and on and on about food, but let's try to clean up our eating habits. Try to not just be in the house and using this time as a way to just eat really bad. All right, so that's all I'm gonna say.
And she just defined what a lifestyle pharmacist is. Thank you so much, Dr. Jamie, for all those nuggets. We really appreciate it. Next, we got Dr. Cree. Dr. Cree.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Dawn. I just want to tell everybody to stay at home. Okay, please stay at home. All of this, I'm gonna go check on my grandmama and them. I'm gonna check on my family. I'm gonna just run over here to the store. I'm gonna go get gas. You're gonna get the coronavirus if you keep going in and out the house. Stay at home. I think that that's huge. And I've heard all these people say, I'm not afraid, I'm not scared, I'm not gonna live my life in fear, all this stuff. I'm like, I'm not saying to be fearful. We learn, we're gonna be cautious, but do it for someone else. If you don't care about getting it, then we don't care about you getting it. But you go out there and you be crazy for yourself. Don't do that to everybody else, so make sure that you stay out of stay out of your just FaceTime. I've taught my family how to use Zoom. We get on there, we see each other weekly, we can see each other, daily if you want to. So that doesn't mean you don't have to see your family, but don't go to their house. Stay out the house. Stay at your house. Love your house. Clean your house. Clean up the pantry with all the Tupperware. I can give you a list of stuff to clean up. Okay? You need something to do, find me, and I'll give you a list.
I love it, Dr. Cree. We appreciate the knowledge and wisdom as well. That's the more important hashtag, I think, of the evening, is stay at home. It's so important that we have to be selfish and selfless, okay? So we got to combine those two efforts. You can't just think about you at this time. We want you to protect yourself, but you also have to protect other people, right? And so it's important that you do stay at home, like Dr. Cree said. And I think you can take that nervous energy and, like you said, clean up those cupboards, the whole house, right? I love it. I love it. Thanks, Dr. Cree. Dr. Jarrett, I'll go to you next.
Listen, I got a lot of things to do at home. The pantry is calling my name. So I'm with you, Dr. Cree. Stay at home. It's so much to do at home. It's so many undiscovered things that I know y'all can find to do. But I'll just piggyback and say, just a reminder, if you have to go to the dentist for an emergency situation and they agree to see you, go by yourself. Don't bring your kids. Don't bring your husbands. Don't bring your wives. Go alone. Don't bring your boyfriend or girlfriend. No one needs to come to the back or into the office with you because we are in vulnerable times. Protect your energy and, pray and meditate and just really hang in there, y'all. It will be over, okay? And this one last thing that I want to stress, I definitely want to stress. If you can do it right now online, but especially when it's safe to go and return to normal life, support small businesses. I cannot stress that enough. Like, I have been in private practice for over 10 years now, and I'm not working. So I'm not working, okay? That's the bottom line. So there's so many people like me that are not working because of this. All right. There's so many ladies on this call that are not working. Number one, I don't want to work right now because I don't want to risk bringing something home to my family. And I don't want my child to be without a mom or dad. I also have a husband that is on the front lines of this and fighting this pandemic. So it is it is important that I continue to stress, stay your behind home for my sake, for my family's sake, and don't be selfish. But really, really important, support small businesses. Support is a verb. We are going to need you when this is all over. And the last thing, pack your patience when it's time, because we may not be seeing patients right now, but pack your patience when you come into our offices when it is safe to do so, because everybody will be wanting to see their dentist. Everybody's going to want to see their doctor. We will be in high demand. Pack your patience. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you, Dr. Dawn.
Thank you, Dr. Jarrett. You just said a word as well. My goodness. We appreciate that. Man, I don't know what to say after that. Anyway, Dr. Sam, come on with it, Dr. Sam.
So much to say, but all right, so let's talk about one food. I just want you guys to, if you have to go to the grocery store, shop on the perimeter, not the inside. All right, the perimeter is the produce, fruits, and vegetables. So get that first. I agree with Dr. Jamie. Frozen's just as good, but if you can get it, that's fine. Go to Real Docs Chat on Facebook. That is our group. There is a video on how to bring in groceries. Somebody on the chat just asked about if people are going in and out of the house, how should they come in? I talk about that on the video where we're talking about how to bring in your groceries. So that's already there. I encourage y'all to go to our Facebook group. There's a lot of information. All of us have put some information in there. So go to the group. I also want to just reiterate a couple of different things that you can boost your immune system with. Sleep, 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 sleep. Well, no, let me take that back. Stay at home, and stay at home. Then 2 is sleep, 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 and sleep. Oh, Dr. Zarina just joined us. And then there's also food as medicine and hydration. So you want to stay at home, sleep, eat properly, and hydrate. Those are the things that I'm going to suggest you do to boost your immune system. I know y'all asked about a bunch of vitamins and stuff like that, but try that. Sleep, eat correctly, and hydrate, and stay at home. That's how we're going to protect ourselves. That's how we're going to flatten this curve. That's all I have to say.
All right, Dr. Sam, thanks so much for reiterating those points as well. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us. Dr. Zarina. Hi, Dr. Zarina. Dr. Zarina, again, is a physical medicine rehabilitation specialist. She is a pain freedom doctor. She alleviates that pain of yours, as well as sports medicine as well. So, Dr. Zarina, I'm actually having you introduce yourself. I'm sorry. I don't want to steal the thunder. Go ahead, girl.
Hey, everybody. I am Dr. Zarina. She actually made that point. I'm Dr. Zarina, also known as Dr. Z, affectionately known as a sports medicine and fellowship trained integrated pain management specialist. I help individual groups and corporations go from pain to pain freedom long term. And I do this from the outside in and the inside out so that they can become the most valuable person, MVP of their life and health. So am I giving 2 points? Okay, I can't hear you, everybody. So yes, 2 things I find are very, okay, got you. 2 things I find very, very critical at this point in time, but just in general, it's kind of like we kind of got to go back to basics. I was talking to family members about that recently. We need to get back to the basics. The things that y'all push me back from, give you pushback about, is one of those is mobility. We really want to make sure that you're getting in motion and being mobile and movement and exercise. And that exercise doesn't have to look like an Olympian, but at this time is more critical than ever to make sure that we're actually moving our body. That's not only going to be helping your mobility of your joints and your muscles, but it actually is going to be helping improve your mental clarity as well as your mental health, as well as your immune system, quite frankly. You want to make sure that all of those components are kind of hitting on all cylinders. So it's really, really critical. Some simple things that you can do can be something as simple as yoga. Right now, go ahead, find your favorite yoga mat, your yoga app, or even on YouTube. There's so many plethora of information out there on YouTube. It doesn't have to be strenuous, but it does have to be mobile. So every hour, don't worry about the quarantine 15. I keep hearing about that hashtag quarantine 15. I want y'all to make sure that that won't be part of your reality. Get moving every hour. Make sure you set a time to get up and move. And your kids are home with you now, right? Or somebody's there with you, most likely. Many are alone. So make sure that you get everybody incorporated and move. That's tip number one. The other thing is people ask me about pain. They can't get to the pain doctor. What am I supposed to do? I'm running out of medications, be it opiate or non-opiate for that matter. Some of the things you can do are things that are actually fairly natural. They may be already in your cupboard. You have your turmeric, you have your ginger, right? These are things that are really nature's ice for that matter. If you just hurt yourself, we want to go get back to the basics. And some of that basics is just our basic health, our basic nutrition, and our mobility. That's my 2 tips for today. Get back to basics.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Wonderful tips, Dr. Zareen, and a way to come on in and join us in this Facebook Live. We really appreciate it. So my final tips for mental health. I know I talk a lot on my personal page about how to manage anxiety, how to keep a sense of normalcy, how to maintain mental health resiliency. I'm actually going to use this time to say, hey, we're going to be all right. This is a time where you can actually learn more about who you are. Learn more about your emotions, learn more about your behaviors, your habits. Maybe, discover something new about yourself, something that you've done before that you want to kind of bring back into your life now, right? There is a lot of time for us to be able to do these things about self-care, self-help tips and activities, but just kind of rediscovering, right? And so learn new ways to meditate. Why don't you get out that video and practice some yoga exercises? Do a new sport with your son or daughter in the backyard. Learn how to barbecue, learn how to knit. I don't know. There's so many things that you can learn how to do that's going to help prevent depression and anxiety from happening and overwhelming you. While you're doing this, you also want to, again, and there was the first tip I mentioned, is try to maintain a sense of normalcy. And I also talked about this yesterday, is control things that you can control very well. All right. You can't get anxious or frustrated when you're trying to have an answer for things outside of your control. It just doesn't work. Right. You want to control things that you can, and you want to do them very well. So that's another tip. And my final thing is music is healing. And I know Dr. Kwanzaa, she attested this a little bit. We had some DJs like D Nice on this week. I mean, we had a lot of DJs that we were listening to where people were just enjoying themselves. It brought back memories. It triggered memories. They hadn't heard songs in a while. They were in the same virtual room with celebrities and stars. That made people feel good. They got some shout outs. Music is healing. It brings us together. It helps connect us. So, listen to some music. There's so many artists that also need your help. So many comedians that also need your support. This affects everybody, y'all, everybody, right? So we also want to support those who've been supporting us and helping us alleviate our anxieties, our depression, right? We want to do that and support those entities as well. So that's all I have for you in the mental health department. But we appreciate everyone's attendance here. We appreciate your love and support. Thank you for sharing this this Facebook Live with your communities. We want you to not just share, but have these discussions. Now that you've learned, I know every single person that's attending tonight's event, because I know I've learned at least 10 tips. I took a tip for every single person, or 9 tips, at least 9 that I took from every single person I learned here from this evening. And so share those things that you've learned from board certified doctors, okay? Board certified doctors in the room. So we're gonna give it to you real. This is what we do in day out. This is what we practice. This is what we studied hard for those boards to learn about. And we know it for you. This is our job, because not only do we want to make sure that, we protect our jobs, we also care about what we do. That's why we do it with passion, with motivation, with drive. So we want to make sure that you share the knowledge that people don't have access to, Facebook, or don't have access to this, virtual things. You call them and let them know, right? That's Granny down, in Huntsville, Alabama, Aunt in Michigan. Make sure you let them know what you've learned tonight. Finally, I definitely want to direct you to our Facebook group. It's called, what is it called, y'all? I'm so sorry.
The Real Docs Chat Live.
The Real Docs Chat Live.
Y'all heard they said the Real Docs Chat Live. I was just so excited. I just had to fumble my words. I just had a brain fog because I'm so excited. These ladies came through for me, y'all. And this is not the first time. We actually support one another. We've been doing this for years. We have many conferences. I actually put in the Facebook kind of.
You're up, Dr. Dawn.
I'm sorry.
Be passionate, y'all.
I did the same thing yesterday. I'm just flowing. I have no idea.
Excited.
What's the last thing y'all heard, y'all? I don't know what happened. I apologize. What I was saying. I'm sorry.
Were you excited?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I was very excited. That's why I was fumbling over my words. Because our group is fabulous. We have a lot of Facebook Lives, information, posts that we post in the group. But I also post in tonight's description of our Facebook Live event all of our websites. So go to our website. If you have information, a lot of us have consultations available on our websites. We have material, content, coursework, all of these things available to you in your specific situation on our website. So take advantage of that, because you've been looking for a pharmacist for so long to talk to. You've been looking for OBGYN, a PMR doctor, pain relief doctor, physical medicine rehabilitation doctor, an ER doctor. We can't just walk in the ER and ask these questions. Definitely a dentist. You definitely got to go to Dr. J's website. And then Dr. Cree, she's a wife, she's a mom, she's a bad family medicine practitioner, has a fabulous conference, and we all conferences too. And Dr. Mia, hormones, come on now. I had no idea about how hormones are important for our healthy living. All right. And Dr. Nicole, she brings it to our veterans. She also brings, she's a family medicine doctor. So she just doesn't have a specific entity, but she's very knowledgeable about veterans and also clergy. So definitely I cannot forget Dr. Sam. Dr. Sam is the all-known for our naturopathic remedies and how you can prevent things and how you can manage and treat them using the natural way. So you have all of these valuable information and our direct access by going to our websites. All right. Now I tend to carry on because my medicine's gone. Having ADHD, you can come to me. I'll give you some valuable tips, but at 9 o'clock, my medicine's gone. So thank you again for joining us. Please, if this is a replay, let us know that you're watching this on a replay. Go to our Facebook group, The Real Docs Chat Live, and join our group. We want you a part of our group because this is not the end. This is not the last time you're gonna see us. So you can be known of when we're gonna come back to you with some more valuable information. Thanks again, and you all take care. Bye-bye.